Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Now, let's look at the first question. Give the formula for percolation rate. So, the formula for percolation rate is amount of water percolated, amount of water in ml upon the time taken, right, in minutes. So, in this way, we can calculate the percolation rate. Razia conducted an experiment in the field related to the rate of percolation. She observed that it took 40 minutes for 200 ml of water to percolate through the soil sample. Calculate the rate of percolation. So, we are going to use the formula, that is 200 ml of water percolated, and it took 40 minutes for it to percolate. So, how much time would it be? So, the percolation took place at the rate of 5 ml per minute, right? So, in this way, you can calculate the percolation rate of various soil samples. Also, you can solve using the percolation rate different numericals related to the same, right? So, for her soil sample, it took, or the percolation rate of that soil sample was 5 ml per minute. The water holding capacity is the highest in the clay soil, right? So we've already seen in different types that clay soil has the highest water holding capacity, and same will be proved when you will do this experiment, this activity, and you will see that clay soil also has the highest water holding capacity. How is percolation rate different for different types of soil? So it depends on the kind of particles you have. The percolation rate should be highest in the sandy soil, whereas it should be lowest in the clay soil, because the water holding capacity of the sandy soil is poorest, right? So the water holding capacity is not good, so water percolates quite easily, whereas in the clay soil this is not the case. So that's how the percolation would be different in different type of soils. So in this way, students, we talked about the percolation rate, which is one of the most important properties of your soil. I hope you were able to understand the same. Continuously waterlogged soils are disadvantageous for the plant growth. Why? Because the roots actually breathe with the help of the soil. Root breathes the air present in the air spaces. Now, if suppose the soil is waterlogged, what would happen? These air spaces wouldn't be there, right? All the water would fill up these spaces and the root would not receive enough oxygen, and eventually the root will start to rot, and this will cause the plant to, this will cause decline in the plant growth and eventually death, right? So that is the reason why continuously waterlogged soil is not good for the plant health. Why soil erosion relatively less in dense forests as compared to barren open fields? The reason is that in the forest there is a lot of vegetation. They have small plants. The forest consists of small plants, tall trees, and various kinds of plants which help in binding the soil together. That whenever, if there is strong wind blowing or the water is coming through, the topsoil is not eroded because of the vegetation, which helps in binding the soil together, whereas no such binding is seen in the barren or open fields, right? And that's the reason why soil erosion is less in the case of forest and more in the case of barren and open lands. Soil conservation measures are mainly aimed at protecting which of the following? A. Plants, B. Topsoil, C. Subsoil or soil organisms. So soil conservation is for protecting the topsoil because it is the one which gets eroded, and this is the soil which contains a lot of humus and supports vegetation. Explain the factors that help us to determine the various types of vegetations and crop that might grow in any region. So there are two factors. First is the climatic conditions, what kind of climate is there, whether the climate is hot or dry, whether it is wet and hot, whether it is whether it is icy cold, whatever is the condition, according to that vegetation is seen. Apart from that, second thing which influences the vegetation is the components of the soil, whether the soil is loamy, whether the soil is sandy or clayey. That also helps in determining that what kind of vegetation will be seen in a particular area. We can prevent soil erosion by using step farming in hill regions, afforestation, avoiding overgrazing of grasslands, all of these. So the answer to this question is all of these, because all of these things are important to avoid and reduce the soil erosion, right? And this helps largely. The step farming is when the hill is cut into the hill is cut in this way, right? And it is then what happens is that instead of flowing like this, the water stays in the hill step farming, right? You must have seen the pictures, and if you have gone to the hilly region, you will see this kind of step farming in it. So this is quite useful in the case of hilly regions, right? So in this way, we can prevent soil erosion. So with this, we come to an end of the chapter. Now the soil, we have talked about the different kinds, different soil profile, and also different types. I hope you were able to understand the importance of soil in our life and also the different characteristics of the soil.